So, what is the problem with Xavi's Barcelona? Xavi joined Barcelona in November 6th of 2021. At the time, Barcelona were in 9th place that season. At the end of that season, Xavi took them to 2nd place. Following the year after that, gets into a tough Champions League group. Bayern, Inter. It wasn't a good start for Xavi Hernandez's Champions League career with Barcelona. But at the end of the year, Xavi ends up getting Barcelona a Spanish Cup and a Spanish Super Cup. Barcelona made a couple of signings over the summer. Some loanees, but new players nonetheless joined the club. As soon as the season started, it did not take much time for the problems in Barcelona to arise. Injuries started arising. Araujo, Lewandowski, Pedri, De Jong, Koundé, Rafinha, Gavi at one point. All these players were listed as injured for Barcelona in these last couple months. All which are first team players and starters and crucial players for the club. And when injuries came, the lack of squad depth really showed. With the absence of Lewandowski, Pedri, and De Jong, the team was really struggling to create successful chances and to score them while they were out. Pedri and Lewandowski are barely getting back into playing form. Lewandowski scoring 2 goals in his first start back from injury, saving Barcelona against Alaves. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. The dependency on Robert Lewandowski is insane. This Barcelona team, apart from injuries, which could sound like an excuse, but it's a factual reason why the progress of this team has slowed down. Another big problem is chance creation. We have the ball 70% of the time, 60% of the time, whatever have you, Xavi ball, but when it comes to creating clear-cut chances, we get maybe to a game in a full 90-minute match where we are controlling the game for 60 minutes minimum. We are only getting 2, maybe 3 clear-cut chances, and that's being nice. We're able to create chances that have a low conversion rate, and yet it's only a few that we do. A couple of youngsters had to step up in Lamine Yamal, you all know him. Fermin Lopez, which has been an absolute breakthrough this season, and I want to make a video on him soon because he deserves some props. And of course, Marc Gui scoring a winner for Barcelona in his 2nd touch in professional football. But this doesn't solve any of the problems. The lack of creation and the lack of chances really hurt the players' confidence, as they are always having to win by getting saved by a stroke of brilliance from an individual player. Like just the other day, Barcelona, they were in a stalemate. And Ronaldo Araujo, a center back mind you, runs all the way up the field and scores a goal. But that's not tactics, that's not ball, that's heart, that's player IQ, that's leadership. And that's a man that wants to play for Barcelona and wants to win for Barcelona. But again, a center back does not change the problem. And the problem only keeps continuing as Lewandowski is back and we keep on relying on him, creating these chances that only a world-class experienced striker like Lewandowski can make the most out of it. That's why he's so crucial for this Barcelona team. And with that being said, the 35-year-old has already been showing signs of decline since last season. So how can we keep depending on Robert Lewandowski? And as of right now, Victor Roque is not going to get registered in January because of financial fair play. We saw glimpses of Ferran Torres playing up top, but he was not able to provide. We saw glimpses of Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo greatness, but they're only loanees, and that only lasted a couple of games. And this brings me to my next problem. The biggest problem in my opinion, but one that might not be as obvious as the last two. And that is locker room leadership. Let me explain. You look at this Barcelona squad, you look at this roster, and it's mixed with young talent, it's mixed with imported veterans, it's mixed with players scattered across the board. You know, we have many youngsters that want to play for Barcelona. We have Gavi, Pedri, Araujo, Frankie. These players want to play for Barcelona but are young. And then we have veterans of the game that know the game, that have been around the world but have not been in Barca that long. Lewandowski, perfect example. He was brought in to be the leader of the attack, and he's been doing his thing, but when it comes to leadership, when it comes to bringing the team together, he can only do so much as somebody that just arrived. Same thing with Gundogan, brought in to be commanding the midfield. He just got here from Man City. Barcelona rides on a hierarchy, and our club captain is Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and he deserves it. Don't get me wrong. He's been at the club for long enough. He's been a shot stopper. He's got his right. But when you are in the 60th, 70th, 80th, 90th minute, a goal down, tied, you need two to come back. Who do you want to be your captain? You want a keeper as your captain? You want somebody that commands the field. You want somebody that brings up these talented individuals together and remind them what it means to be a Barcelona player, what it means to bleed these colors. Barcelona do not have a player that meet these categories with the level of being a consistent starter to influence the rest of the team. So what is the solution for Xavi's Barcelona? It's two things. To my point earlier, locker room leadership. There is no better person to do it than Xavi Hernandez himself, a veteran of the game, a Barcelona legend in the city, bleeds the colors. Granted, as a manager, he needs more experience, but that's part of the process, and that leads to my next point, time. We need to remind ourselves that we've known when Messi left Barcelona we were going to do a rebuild. We've known that there was going to be issues and everything was not going to be good and dandy. We've been knowing. We've had several coaches ever since he left, but realistically none have felt like a fresh start program until Xavi took over, and the process has finally started. He showed that he cares about the club, that he can get results, that he just needs time. And then on top of everything, on our club situation, our financial situation, no other manager's gonna want to come to Barcelona and rebuild the program from the ground up, because that's what we need. We need a cohesive group of players that have played together. Lamine Yamal has never passed the ball to Joao Cancelo before this season. Gundogan and Frankie have never even played against each other, and yet they're somehow trying to make it work. And that's where the inspiration comes from these players that feel the colors, that want to grow, that want to be part of the process. There's somebody's gonna round up these talented individuals and to force them to bleed Barca colors. How Gundogan sends more frustration, more anger after these games. All these little things just simply take time to develop, time to nourish, time to brew. And Xavi, he's a man for the job, mark my words. Because if it's not him, then the other option is Rafa Marquez, and Rafa Marquez is tearing up in Barcelona B. But if I'm being honest, I kind of want Rafa to take the Mexico national team route, but that's way too soon. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, and we'll leave that for another video, so make sure to stay tuned and subscribe.